Okay, Derbyites, let's forget all this Oscar snobism for a moment and talk about what's really important on the award scene, and that is Golden Globe TV Awards, SAG TV Awards, and how they may affect the next Emmys. And let's start with TV drama series. Marcus Dixon, what do you like among the new shows? What do you think is going to happen at the Golden Globes? We're talking about here drama series wigs.
The Golden Globes love new shows. They love new actors and actresses. I think we're going to see a lot of new blood this year at the Golden Globes. Just as a refresher for people that don't remember, last year's nominees were Homeland, and they only have 5 nominees. So it was Homeland, Boardwalk Empire, Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey, and The Newsroom. Homeland won. It actually won twice in a row. And since the Globes love rewarding new shows and new stars, I think there's going to be a lot of change in this category. I think 2, maybe 3 of these shows won't be back next year. And
okay, and what will be in their place? What will the new shows be?
In their place, the most obvious one is House of Cards. And House of Cards, even though it aired so long ago, it's still new according to the Golden Globes because it aired in 2013. And another show that might get in there is Masters of Sex, and that is a Showtime show that, to be honest, I have not yet watched it. It's still kind of new. It just started 4 weeks ago. But I'm hearing good things about it, and according to the predictions we have at Gold Derby, it's in the 6th position to get a nomination here. And the Golden Globes only nominate 5 each year, so it's just right on the cusp there of getting a nomination. So definitely House of Cards. I think that's in. I think everyone would agree that's in. But as for another new show, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Riley, let's start with you. What do you think? What other new show could get in there? What about
Blacklist?
Blacklist?
I've only got House of Cards. No, I've only got House of Cards and Masters of Sex. The Blacklist is on network, and I don't think it is going to have a ton of critical buzz later in the year. I don't think anybody takes it seriously as one of the best dramas on TV. I think any kind of recognition that it gets will be limited to James Spader, and he's not a Globes favorite like he is in Emmy.
Okay, well,
so
what about the Americans? Give us your list again. What do you have?
I have Breaking Bad, House of Cards, Downton Abbey, Masters of Sex, and Homeland. The thing about the Americans is that it's on FX, and FX seems to have enough trouble getting into the Emmys. I don't think the Globes are going to embrace them.
Oh, come on! They gave Nip Tuck Best Drama Series, right? Or was it Comedy Series? They have been very generous to FX here. The Shield was won its at first at the Globes instead of. That's not true. Now, the Homeland has won 2 years in a row. So, Charlie, can it win for a 3rd year in a row? There's some disappointment in the series out there, right?
There's some big disappointments with this new season. The most recent episode had a bit of a major twist. We're not going to say what, because we know there are some people who have been who have not caught up to that episode yet. So there is the potential for it to get interesting again, but it may be such an established favorite that the Globes may just keep on putting it in there, regardless of the fall off of what a lot of people are thinking with the flop. I do think the Blacklist could make it in there. It's something. It's a new thing, and just because it's on network television doesn't necessarily remove it from consideration. The Globes will, nominated. I believe they nominated The Good Wife the first year of its programming. And recently they awarded Jim Parsons, of all people, in the Best Actor category. Network can still make it at the Globes. So, and I think they may just like the Blacklist.
Now, Marcus, Breaking Bad has never won a single Golden Globe in any category, right? What's going on there?
It's so weird. It's not something that I can really explain. When Breaking Bad started 5 or 6 years ago, it was a really, really low-rated show. No one was really talking about it. We've mentioned before how the Emmys kind of put it on the map, and the Golden Globes just somehow missed it. Over the past couple of years, we've seen it get more and more nominations, but still never a win, not even for Bryan Cranston. In that category in particular, the lead TV actor in a drama series, they hate repeating in that category. In the past, 20 years, only Hugh Laurie has got 2 of those Golden Globes. Just looking at the list right now, the past 5 winners or so were Damian Lewis, Kelsey Grammer for Boss, Steve Buscemi, Michael C. Hall, Gabriel Byrne, John Hamm. Doesn't Bryan Cranston seem like he should fit in that list?
Yeah, and Riley, we've got Kevin Spacey, who would be a strong threat here with House of Cards, right? Charlie was saying before we started here that he's never won a Golden Globe. I hadn't realized that. He's won a couple of Oscars, of course. Riley?
Yeah, I could even see Michael Sheen getting in for Masters of Sex and winning. Oh, sorry. Am I not?
Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I could even see Michael Sheen winning if Masters of Sex picks up and it becomes like a really acclaimed drama by the end of the season, just because he's new. Plus, he's British, so they love that as well, right?
Yep. Mm. Well, they're real snobs at the Globes, and I think that's the problem with Breaking Bad. The Emmys are snobs, but the Globes are worse. Charlie, you have some strong feelings on this, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, like Marcus, I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan. It may be that they just don't get some of this stuff. They may not get drug culture, or like the problem that meth is here in the United States. It may just be something that's beyond their grasp. But it's so weird. Not only have they never won anything, but Bryan Cranston has only been up 3 times. It's like 3 or 4 times, and the program was only up for the series last year. Anna Gunn, never nominated. None of the supporting. Aaron Paul, never nominated.
Really? I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah, it's just that the show has never really clicked with them. And of course, because since the Globes are only, 90 some odd members of the Hollywood Foreign Press, it's a much more limited pool, and if it's just not clicking with them, it's not going to get in.
Right.
Wow.
Another
it's
thing
important to remember, too, that, Breaking Bad will still have another year to compete at the Emmys, but the Golden Globes are on a different calendar, so this is their last chance to win anything.
Right. I was going to say the same thing. This is the first time that the final season of Breaking Bad will be nominated for anything. The SAG will be another... When the SAG nominations come out, it will be for the final 8 episodes, just like the Golden Globes. And, the show had so much buzz over the past couple months that it's hard to believe that it won't be nominated for some of those people that Charlie mentioned that have never even got nominations before.
I have a crazy idea. Let me run it by you guys here. Tell me if you think it can happen. The one thing the Globes do very well is they do nominate the offbeat kind of characters. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, the one thing the Globes do well is they'll pick a Ricky Gervais, or they'll pick The Office, the British version. They'll take a dramatic left turn and go with a little art house person sometimes, or a little cult favorite like Claire Danes back in her mic called Life Days or whatever. They'll do that, something that the Emmys would not ever think of. What about the critics' darling of Tatiana in Orphan Black? She seems to me to be the kind of person who could actually win a Globe and then go on. That would put her on the Emmy map, and she could then emerge into the mainstream. Could you see that, Marcus? Let's start with you. Could you see that happening at the Globes?
Oh, definitely. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, this is the association that gave Gillian Anderson a Globe and Jennifer Garner for Alias. And didn't they give Kerry Russell one for Felicity? I mean, they give Globes to people who the Emmys sometimes don't even think about. And then sometimes when these actresses do win Globes, then the Emmys kind of pile on later and go, oh yeah, she's worthy. So that's definitely something that we can see happening with Tatiana Maslany.
Either of you guys have a thought?
Yeah, for sure. I'm predicting here right now. I'd love to see her get it. I think she'll lose to Kerry Washington because I think Scandal is too hot. But
that's a good point.
I could absolutely see that getting in and very possibly winning. The buzz that show had a couple months ago, and it seems like the kind of thing that the Globes could respond to, because the Globes also have an easier time accepting stuff that's not what we would normally consider like something that's sci-fi or fantasy based. The Globes have a lot easier time swallowing that. Remember, Twin Peaks, one of the greatest shows ever, won the Globe for Drama Series and for Kyle MacLachlan and Piper Laurie for Supporting Actress. If they like something, they will really latch onto that. And I think that this Orphan Black could, who knows, it might even get into series if enough of them like it.
Right.
Wow, wouldn't that be
something? The X-Files won 3 best dramas, Lost won. So you're right, they do like to embrace things that are more genre.
What about Ray Donovan? I have not seen this show. It had a lot of buzz there when it's debuted. That kind of died down. Is that going to be a Globe contender? Do any of you guys think?
Is that the Liev Schreiber show?
Yeah, on
I ended up for lead actor.
Okay, lead actor. I could see that happening.
I think there's also another Showtime show which hasn't really gotten any buzz yet, but it's supposed to be premiering. Is it next month or something? Called Penny Dreadful. Have you guys heard?
What's it called? You're breaking up.
I'll just say it. Here. Somebody else first.
Okay, so Homeland's not going to win. There's a lot of griping going on about that. What's going to win? Right. If the vote was held right now, Charlie, what would win the Golden Globe for Best TV Drama Series? I think it'd be Breaking Bad. I think they would. The momentum is still so strong just a month after the Emmys that they would have to honor it, wouldn't they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it only got its first series nomination last year, and I just don't think they get it, and I don't think enough of them would be willing to vote for it, because they just don't get the show. So,
but they are foreign journalists in America whose job it is to track the hot trends and the topics, and that's why they go for the big sexy stars sometimes that the Emmys and the Oscars don't, because they want to be on top of these trends. And this trend was so important in American pop culture the past several months, 6 months even, that they have an obligation to now pay attention and cover it for their papers. I think that they now are paying attention to it because they had to. So that may change things.
I can certainly see it possibly happening. I would probably put House of Cards in the top slot.
Okay. Wow. I can see that.
They are the Hollywood foreign press, and nothing is more foreign than Game of Thrones. It's not even filmed in America. Most of the people in that show are not even Americans. So if they really want to embrace things outside of Hollywood, that would be the show. Plus it's sci-fi or fantasy. Excuse me. It's a fantasy show. They love the genre. They love the genre shows. The weird thing about Game of Thrones, it got nominated at the Globes in season 1. It was snubbed in season 2. People are predicting it will come back though in season 3. At Gold Derby, it currently is in 4th place. So I think maybe last year's snub was kind of a fluke. I think it'll be back. I think everyone's predicting it to be back.
I can see it winning.
Right.
I could never see it winning. It's not going to happen. If you meet the HFPA people, they're all above 75 years old. They all barely speak English. They have this Game of Thrones. What are they talking? Game of Thrones? What? I mean, they're so far away from the demographic of that show. There's no way they're watching that. It doesn't have a prayer. They'll be lucky if it gets nominated.
Where do they film the show? Romania?
I think Amelia Clark will get in.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think they film it in like 7 different countries or something like that.
Hey, those foreign journalists may have sway there. You never know.
Right. What about Mad Men? Do you think Mad Men's done? It didn't get nominated.
Oh yeah, no, it's gone. Yeah, forget it.
It's done.
Regardless of the quality of the show, it's just not resonating anymore. So, and especially with something like the Globes, it's just beyond their radar right now.
Yeah.
Right. It could put on the most brilliant subsequent episodes. I mean, the last season it picked up at the end. That's right. Those will be the episodes it'll be up for now.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There's no way it gets in.
And Tom, before the chat, I think you and I disagreed a little bit on Boardwalk Empire. I think it's out, even though it won in 2010. It was nominated in 2011 and 2012. I think it's done at the Globes. I don't think it'll be nominated for anything else. Maybe Bobby Cannavale, maybe, in supporting.
Here's why I think you could be wrong, and that is we're underestimating the strength of that show. I don't watch it, so I don't know what its appeal is. I've only seen 2 or 3 episodes over the last several years. But the people who like it really, really like it. They're insane about it. It just won the most Emmys, didn't it, if you count all the tech categories,
right,
even though it wasn't in the running for Best Drama Series. So I don't know if they're really devoted, and you only have 90 voters, of which, by the way, only about 70 actually vote. There are these mysterious people in the HFPA called the shut-ins. Isn't that? I don't even know. Isn't it a great? They're apparently they're.
Isn't that a new show on NBC or something?
And that the strategists for the Globes, those people who are hired to campaign to the Globes, their biggest job is getting the DVDs to the shut-ins. I have pictures of them slipping these DVDs under the door at night and running away. But the shut-ins are notorious, so a lot of them don't vote. So you may have as many as 20 that don't, so you could be down to 70. By the way, a good 15% of the Oscar voters do not vote. Can you imagine? You're a member of the Academy, you've struggled so far to get in there, and you can't.
Yeah, and once you're invited, don't you have to accept? You could accept or deny the membership to be a voting member of the Academy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, to the idea that you would accept it and then not even vote.
It's crazy.
And pay $250 a year for membership and then not even vote. Yeah, I don't get it either. Hollywood's officially crazy, I'm telling you.
In our chat box here, Awardzilla mentioned The Bridge could be a potential nomination. If not for Best Drama, then for the 2 stars. What is it? Damien Bashir and what's her name?
Diana Kruger?
That's the FX.
Yeah,
one, right?
Diana Kruger. I haven't seen it yet. I would love to watch it.
I saw the first episode, and it was okay. It just seemed kind of, I don't know, I wasn't wowed by it, but the critics are loving it. Yeah, I had forgotten about that one. Thank you, Awardzilla.
Yeah.
And he could be someone who, and Damien Bashir, there's an Oscar-nominated actor who could get in for Best TV Actor.
No, guest 24 Emmy says maybe The Walking Dead can get in. Ha, 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 ha. That'll never happen.
Well, it got him for its first season.
I know, but...
and it should have won.
Okay.
That first season was brilliant.
I did watch
this show. This show is incredible. The ratings that it's doing every week is just amazing for a cable show.
There's nothing else like it. That's the thing.
It's not. And, this is a little bit mean. I do watch the show. I do love the show. But I feel like they spend too much time on the makeup and the visual effects. Not enough time in the writer's room. And if they maybe had found a way to balance the writer's time with the time it takes to make up all these zombies, which are incredible, then this show could really, really stand a chance at the Globes.
The problem is that the makeup people, I'm pretty sure, have been there since the first season. The writers haven't. That's been the crazy thing with the show, is that the writers, the showrunners and the writers have cycled in and out of there so much. It's been completely nuts. So it's as disappointing as certain seasons can be. It's understandable.
But it's still a very enjoyable show. I love that show. It's a very, very buzz-worthy show, like Breaking Bad is, and like Game of Thrones is. It hits those fanboy chords.
But it's just a bunch of zombies chasing the live people, right? That was I don't get what the greatness is of the show. I get what the fun of it is, right. And I had fun watching. I watched the whole first season. I was absolutely hooked. I get it in this case,
right.
But my problem is I don't think that there's much of a show there, or has it really evolved into something? It sounds like from what you guys are saying that it has.
It has potential.
Potential? What about the reality? In other words, are all these fanboys just gushing about the fact that it's just kind of fun zombie show, and let's all watch it and talk about it with my nerdy buddies tomorrow? Is that what's going on?
Pretty much.
I think that there's been
well, blow the hopes of that 0. Okay.
There's been a bit of a disconnect sometimes, because I always hear people talking about it and they're like, I want more action from it, and you can't just have pure action. during a 13 episodes season. You know, in a 2-hour zombie movie, of course, it can be all action. But what was interesting about this show is that it gets the chance to zero in on the actual survival part of it. The actual, you know, just not just running from these creatures, but surviving. And it's always hit and miss with it. And I would love to. I still watch it because there's nothing else like it, and it's always interesting to see where they're going to go, at least.
Riley, pipe in here. Have you been following this discussion?
Yeah, The Walking Dead. Like, I watched the first season. Like, I had everyone today that it's one of the best shows in the first season. I don't think it's going to get back in, but it does have crazy ratings, so it wouldn't be a total surprise.
Right, right.
I also want to talk about The Good Wife this season. It's really, really good this season. I don't know if you guys are up to date, but I just watched the 4th episode last night. Wow. I mean, what's her name? Diane. Where
Christine
am I
Baranski.
There you go. After 4 seasons, she finally, now in the 5th season, has a really, really good storyline. And if this storyline keeps up, she would have a really good chance at an Emmy. She was nominated for 4 seasons at the Emmys. She's never won for this show. And if they keep
it doesn't matter. They're not watching it anymore. These are foreign journalists who are sitting there. They've got to stay on top of all the new things, the hot things. They're paying attention for that. They got to file stories back in Bulgaria and in Paraguay where these people work, and they're not caring about The Good Wife. It's been off the map. I don't care how good it is. And
there's something to be said about a show that kind of falters and then rebounds.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what the show is doing this year. The whole storyline with Alicia and Carrie leaving the firm, or possibly leaving the firm, and people finding out about it one at a time, and people feeling betrayed. Oh, it's so good. So drama.
All right, let's talk. And we had to bring it up because if we didn't, Rob LaCuria would murder all of us.
Oh, The Good Wife. I know. Well, he's a lawyer, remember, in his real job. So, he's a little bit tainted by lawyer love here as he watches this show. And every year we hear, it's the best ever. It's the greatest ever. And it may very well be year to year. But Rob is not an impartial witness. But that said, Marcus is backing him up, so I will swallow hard. All right, let's talk about Downton Abbey. What the F has happened to Downton Abbey? That show... at award shows in general, because I thought for sure the Golden Globes were going to go for it. There are a bunch of the worse snobs than the Emmys, right? It's British and all that stuff. So who's got a thought here? Why hasn't it resonated at any award show? This side of the big drink.
Well, it did win the SAG Award for Ensemble.
Award. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, and it... I just think that the newness of it just has sort of faded. So for something like, especially like the Golden Globes, they awarded it under the miniseries category for its first season, and then when it transferred over to drama, by the time that second season, because last year they were up to the second season of it, right? Because of the way it airs in the States.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
And so this year they're going to be up for the third season, which aired, about 8 months ago?
Yeah, it aired in January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to...
That's right.
Yeah, the buzz of that just sort of has faded off, and even some people in... a lot of the press actually in Britain has fallen off of the show. They're not really enamored with it either.
Okay. And since Matthew died...
Yeah, I like how they have the BAFTA TV Awards.
It does well there, right? BAFTA TV Awards.
Right.
But that's to be expected.
No, it doesn't do well there. It used to do
doesn't?
well, but at this point they only nominate it for production design. They've actually dropped it everywhere, and it's weird that the Emmys are still holding on to it because I guess they're, because they think it's British and that's impressive.
I think it'll be snubbed. I don't think it's back. It was nominated last year. I think it's done. I think Boardwalk Empire...
Yeah, and Newsroom's not getting back in. Downton Abbey, I agree with you, is at risk. I agree with you, Boardwalk Empire's in big trouble there. So of the last year's nominees, Homeland, I think Breaking Bad, they have to at least nominate. So
Right.
that leaves 3 wide slots. I agree with Charlie that House of Cards is in, but which of the other shows gets in is a mystery at this point.
I think Game of Thrones has a really, really good shot.
No.
And again, the fact that it was snubbed last year, I think that was just a fluke. I think, for some reason they liked the newsroom better.
You're a Throny fan. Just admit it, Marcus. Admit it. Turn yourself into the Gold Derby police.
And did we talk about
though? Because SAG stumped it as well last year.
It's an impenetrable show. It's an utterly impenetrable show. I'm sure it's very good, and once you get into it, but you have to make a real investment, and they're not. I can't figure out what's going on at that show, and I know that fans can't figure out what's going on in the show. And what I find remarkable is they don't even care.
Yeah, that's true.
A few shows we haven't talked about that I'll just mention really quickly. Scandal, that has a really good shot because it is one of the most watched shows on TV, and the Globes love what's popular. Then there is Bates Motel, which is another genre show that could get in there, I suppose. And what about
see it for Vera Farmiga? I can't see it getting in for a series.
Right, it's not getting in for a series. It deserves to, but it won't.
I could see them doing something really weird where they give Freddie Highmore a nomination. Remember last year they gave Hayden Panettiere something for Nashville.
Okay.
There's always a huge shot that everyone's like, what? Like 2 years ago, Scott Conn for Hawaii Five-0.
That's right, yeah.
So we do need to talk about something that aired 2 weeks ago, American Horror Story Coven. Even though it's not a drama series, we still need to talk about it because we won't have a separate chat for miniseries. I loved it. I don't know what you guys thought. I loved it.
I loved the first episode. The second episode I thought was just okay. But you can see it's really richly plotted, and the characters are a hoot. It's going to really deliver again for third year. Fourth year.
Third
year.
Third, yeah.
Yeah. I saw the first episode. I was wowed by it. I thought it was just great. And I haven't seen the second episode yet, so I'm still waiting on that one.
What
do you think?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
You should. It's really good. I think the first 2 are on Netflix, or at least the first 1 is on there. The cast this season is out of this world. You have, first of all, Jessica Lange's back, and so is Kathy Bates has joined the cast. Angela Bassett has joined the cast, and they brought back all of the really, really memorable actors and actresses from the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, but let's talk about what really makes it great, and that is Kathy Bates is ferociously evil. She plays this legendary sadist woman who was a slave keeper in New Orleans, and she plays her with real gusto. You couldn't get more evil than her, except if you're Jessica Lange, who's like Queen of the Witches, and she's so vicious. So these divas are going at each other, these bloodthirsty dames. It's just great. They're knocking each other across the room and just battling it out. That's what exactly what I love. But the show is very, very inconsistent. There is a spoiler alert. There's a scene where one of the characters is assaulted by boys, shall we say, a witch, and she doesn't fend them off. She's just helpless. But a second later, she's able to take a whole bus full of these guys and spin it around on this. So it's like, why couldn't she fend? There's just illogical after illogical thing with the show.
I think she was roofied. I think
during the rape scene she was roofied, but how long does a roofie last? I mean, I've only given out like 10. I'm not sure how long those last, but
okay.
One thing about the season that I really like, it reminds me of the early days of Heroes. I don't know if you guys watch Heroes, but each of the heroes had their own power. Each of the witches this season has her own special power, so it kind of reminds me of that.
I think that's ingenious. I think that's so. It's not just like, okay, you're a witch and all witches can do this. It at least it varies it up and it keeps it interesting.
In the chat room, they're all saying, SAG and Globe and Emmy love for Kathy Bates, of course.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, I
No,
think I
and
forgot
Gabby
to predict it.
Sidibe, no, I don't agree with that. Gabby's role isn't very expressive. There's nothing.
Is
She
she
haven't
gonna
done
get
anything with it.
episode?
Not yet.
I mean, we've only seen 2 episodes. It could explode. You never
Yeah,
know.
she was on the Big C. She's playing the same character she was on the Big C, only now she can stab herself and hurt somebody else with it. She always plays the same character.
But I love her.
I do love her. I saw her in Conan, a year ago or something. She was so funny in Conan.
Well, I once had her in my apartment in New York. Let me tell you my Gabby Sidibe story. This was a couple weeks before the Globes, the year of Precious, and she came over to do a live chat for back when Gold Derby was on a blog at the Times, and her and somebody from Lionsgate and a rep, Todd Nichols, came, and this makeup person and personal assistant. So there's a little entourage there, and we finished the chat, and then she was. It was right before the National Board of Review, and it was and then the Globes. And I was trying to tell her. I said, "Look, if you win an award, you've got to give a great acceptance speech, and the acceptance speech should have these elements and blah 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 blah." And then she started to just scream at me and stop me, and she just lost control. And I yelled at her and I slammed my fist down on the desk, and we were really screaming at each other the rest of it. And she started crying, and she was going to storm out of the room. It was this big theatrical diva thing, and finally I just screamed at her and said, "You can behave like a little diva. The award season's just beginning. Good." I said, "You can fuck it all up if you want, or you can listen to somebody who knows this stuff and pay attention." And I got to hand it to her. She suddenly, the 2 reps that were with her there were furious at me. "Tom O'Neill, this is outrageous. We're not putting up with this, blah, blah, blah." And Gabby was great. She just said, "Everybody shut the fuck up." And then she slammed her own fist down, and she kind of sat there on my couch, and she just, wiped the tears away, collected herself, and she said, "I can handle this. I can handle this."
Wow.
Okay, what? Tell me. And we had this really great talk. Well, 2 nights later, she accepted this Breakthrough Award at the National Board of Review. And I saw her across the room, and this is in New York, of course. And she came running over. She gave a great acceptance speech. Great. And she came running over. "How'd I do, Tom? How'd I do?" I said, "It was brilliant. If you win the Golden Globe in a couple of weeks, give that speech. And you'll win the Oscar next." Fortunately, she lost the Globe. But that's my Gabby Sidibe story.
Be careful. I wouldn't yell at her.
Could we open a Gold Derby finishing school for nominees?
What's that?
Oh, which one, me or Marcus?
I don't know. Who wants to talk?
I was just saying, could we open a Gold Derby finishing school for potential nominees?
All the advice we give these people, it's very funny. Look at how many episodes we choose for the Emmy nominees. It's embarrassing. We now choose like 20 to 25% of all the episodes submitted by all the actors. They just come to us and say, "What do I submit?"
Yeah.
It's shocking. I mean, they're smart to do it. If I were them, I would too. But we have a lot of impact on these races. I was at the Hollywood Film Awards last night at the Beverly Hilton. And a lot of these stars came running up, what are my chances for the Oscars? They all read Cold Derby. They all want to know. They want to do these slugfests. It's really impressive.
Awesome.
Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are coming back as hosts. I loved them last year. I don't know how you guys felt.
I loved them. I thought they were fantastic. It was nice to have something. As much as I loved Ricky Gervais, and I loved Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes, I think Amy and Tina also gave it a really nice feel that was reflective of the type of award show the Golden Globes is. Loose, fun, just there to have a good time, and it made it enjoyable. And they were always there. They were always playing around with it. That kept people, interested. I loved it when they were reading the names for lead actress comedy for TV, and they get to Amy Poehler and they show a picture of her, and she's schmoozing with George Clooney with a glass of champagne. That was priceless. And so I would love to see. I can't wait to see them again.
They have the best
okay.
chemistry.
They have good chemistry?
Oh,
Actually, they have great chemistry.
Yeah.
But I don't think they had great material. They had moments that were charming. They didn't screw it up. I really enjoyed it, but I expected to be wowed, and they didn't give me that.
I would agree.
I wanted wow.
The material wasn't the best. I don't know if they're to blame for that. I just recently rewatched their monologue, 2 weeks ago, and the one joke that sticks out to me is probably the only joke I could think of on the spot right now, but it was the one where they said, Meryl Streep cannot be here tonight. She has the flu. I hear she's wonderful in it.
Okay, that's good.
Although I did like when they were introducing Mr. and Miss Golden Globe, and I think one of them was the son of Michael J. Fox, and Taylor Swift was in the audience, and they just went, Taylor Swift, you stay away from him.
Yeah.
After we saw her being so sultry when Adele won over her. How dare Adele win over the greatness that is Taylor Swift?
Oh, gosh.
Riley, we're talking about Amy and Tina at the Golden Globes hosting. You agree with me, right, that they weren't as good as they could have been, or they certainly weren't as good as everybody's saying they were. They saw different Globes than you and I saw, right?
Yeah, I think everybody saw different Globes than the two of us did. I mean, they did the job. I don't think that they were, inspired or their jokes were better than, I don't know. Like, Neil Patrick Harris, he's good at hosting the Emmys. He's not the greatest thing ever. I think it's the same thing. I liked Ricky Gervais when he was doing the really biting jokes, actually. Did you like him too?
When he first did the Globes, he was brilliant. As over the edge as he was, then when he came back, he was like, it was he wasn't working so hard.
Right. I like Ricky Gervais. I think the first two, but the third one is forgettable. I can't even remember what he did on that third show.
I think he was sober. That was the problem. The first time he had that glass of beer on the podium, he was always, referring to the glass. He was just on, having a party of his own, and we were invited. But the next two times, I think he just froze.
Didn't Amy and Tina do something with a fake movie that they were in called The Dog President, and it was nominated for all these Globes? That's the kind of humor that I like, and that's what they were so good at on Saturday Night Live, and that's what they brought to the Globes, and I hope they bring more of that in, 2 months, 3 months from now?
Yeah, I hope so. I think they love Tina Fey. They claim to love Amy Poehler, even though she's never won a Globe. So,
she has that wedding episode. I know they don't watch episodes of the Globes, but if they're aware that her character got married, she's the host of the show last year. That might help her. And Tina Fey's not nominated. It's weird. She's eligible at the SAG Awards. She's not eligible at the Golden Globes, which is very, very strange because both organizations have the same calendar year. For some reason, the SAG committee is allowing 30 Rock to compete, even though they aired 5 episodes this year. The Golden Globes wisely said no.
No, that's because the SAG people.
Wow.
The SAG people just love Tina Fey, especially the way she was during the writer's strike, and because it's a union gig, they just love her. That's why they also love Alec Baldwin too.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap up here now. What's that, Riley?
I said Alec Baldwin needs to win 8 times at the SAG.
Yeah, we got to get him out of the way. That's ridiculous. They should not be breaking the rules to let these people back. Enough already. Okay, enough of this Slugfest 2. Thank you, everybody. We're going to come back soon and discuss comedies and keep rocking. Giddy up, Derbyites.